What's up, guys? Back again. Rainer here. This time playing as Hades. Hades is comes to us as a guardian. Probably one of the more fun guardians to play. I would put him along the line of Ares as well, just because he's at least entertaining. It's not just like you're stomping around tanking, and it gets kind of, because tanking is boring. I think we can all agree with that. Tanking's not the most exciting of roles. It's necessary. So that's why I've chosen a tank today. Let's talk about Hades' kit. His passive. His passive is very important. It's Blight. Blight is whenever you hit an enemy with your auto attacks, it debuffs the enemy and applies the Blight to them. The Blight is an important buff, or an important thing, just because all of your other abilities have an additional effect when the enemy is blighted. So give this a second, because there's I'm going to secure first blood here like a super pro. Loki goes in hard on Scylla, but immediately gets focused by the team and starts teleporting out. I jump in real fast, secure the kill, and immediately get turbo focused because it's level 3, and that's what happens. Anyway, back after the spawn. His 1, Death from Below. It's a teleport in attack. You disappear underground and then burst up beneath the enemies doing damage. This is also a good ability because it applies Blight now. It didn't used to, it does. So it makes a great combination between your 1 and your 3. We'll get to your 3 in a minute. There's your 1 right now. His 2, Shroud of Darkness. It's a cone attack that you fire out in front of you. It does no damage. It silences your enemy for between 1 and 2 seconds, depending on your level. And if the enemy is blighted, they are also feared, so they run away from you, or towards you, or whatever the random roll is. That's his ability that I would max last. In fact, I typically don't max it out until level 6, or even put a point in it until level 6, because you get such good stacks off of your other abilities. Here I eat a couple of Krakens, try to get away, and end up catching Scylla's ultimate to the face. His 3, Devour Souls. It's his AoE nuke ability around himself. He devours the souls of his enemies around him. If the enemy is blighted, they explode, dealing damage to the enemies nearby, and also heal you. There I use my 1 again to jump in and secure the Poseidon kill. This is way more action than Hades usually gets. He's not a very good damage dealer, just for the fact that he's below average mage if you build him raw mage, and you lose probably some of his best ability, which is, I mean, once you get up into like the 10s in your level, you get pretty tanky pretty fast. His ultimate, Pillar of Agony, you've seen it once already. He draws all the enemies near him, doing damage every half a second for 4 seconds, and if they're blighted, their protections are also reduced. So, I mean, the damage, like, total ranges from about 360 to 840, depending on the level, and then an additional 240% of your magical your magical power. So, I mean, his ultimate is definitely his big hitter. There it is right now. You can see I just pulled Poseidon in, or Apollo in, and Poseidon picked up the kill. Amon is very upset that I ulted, and kills me immediately.
An ally has been slain. An ally has been slain.
So let's talk about your build for a second. I mean, I built a really stupid build for this one. I mean, I missed some of the key items that you build with Hades. But let's just talk about it for now. I've got my boots, and then I went with Hide of the Urchin, just because, I mean, this is arena, so you typically get assists on everything. And, I mean, I recommend Hide of the Leviathan for Hades. It's just better. You can see I do my 1 there to jump in and apply Blight to all the enemies, and then you use my 3 to nuke the entire wave and pick up the clear. That's probably the best wave clear you're ever going to see from a tank. I mean, I'm at level 10, and I cleared an entire wave on my own. You can see I maxed my 1 first. I mean, I would throw up either your 1 or your 3 as your max first ability. That's how I would definitely build Hades' kit. His 2 is just so useless at the low levels that it's not going to do you really any good. It's really only useful once you get it to level 5, and it doesn't do any damage. Or really have any benefit to you. I mean, your 3 heals you. You can't argue. You can't argue that thing's effectiveness. Thor comes in and kills Al. I'm going to throw down my crippling curse up here into scare Poseidon off, and letting us focus down Thor here. Scylla's here for some reason, because she apparently thinks she's tanky. I'm focusing the wave because, I mean, I could do damage to these guys, but that's not my deal. Someone's got to worry about the minions.
Minions have reached your portal.
Here's Pillar of Agony again. The biggest problem with Pillar of Agony that usually occurs is that, just like with Ares' ultimate, enemies know it's coming. They know when you're going to do it, because you have to be reasonably close. It's got a fairly small radius. It's nowhere near as big as Ares. And if they are caught in the outside circle, which they typically are, I mean, Poseidon there was caught on the inside circles. But when they're caught in the outside circles, they'll just pop beads. The beads there. And just, they're gone. It's you can waste your entire ultimate because the enemies can counter it so effectively. Saw me pick up another confirm on Apollo. It's just the way Arena goes. You know, I mean, are you going to have 3 kills with Hades when you play him in Conquest? No. I mean, not until later game. He's it's worth noting that he's got some of his cooldowns aren't incredibly long, but they're at that medium length where cooldowns reduction could be useful. So I've moved a little further into the build. I've got Bulwark of Hope and Stone of Gaia. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but their magical damage is kind of real. With Poseidon and Scylla. I mean, that's a lot of burst damage that they've got. So protections are going to help there. I'll put my my recommended build for Hades down in the description. I mean, if you're a new Hades player, this is one of the best builds you can have, just for the fact that it's there. I confirm on Vimana again, just because Poseidon was taking too damn long. If Vimana went into his giant form, we were done. I mean, we'd have never killed him. I mean, if you're gonna build High to the Urchin, it's best to build it early in the game because you get stacks on it for kills and assists. And I've got it fully stacked right now, so I mean, I'm getting maximum usage out of it. Here I silence Vimana. He wasn't blighted, so he wasn't feared. He's just beating on me because, I mean, I don't do damage. His auto attacks, you might as well be throwing, you know, deflated balloons. They don't do anything. I mean, he's definitely an ability-centric god when it comes to his damage. He finishes off Scylla before I can get there, but I mean it was worth a shot.
An ally has been slain. Killing spree. Killing spree.
When it comes to actives that I would build with Hades, it really bears down to 2. I would go with either Creeping Curse, just because it slows down the enemies and lets you get into a better position. I mean, it's also pretty great for any tank to have Creeping Curse. And Spike Shell. Spike Shell is so good because you pop it before you throw your ultimate. Anyone that gets caught in your ultimate is going to come and try to fight you. It's the way it works. You pull them towards you, and if they can't escape, they're just gonna punch you in the face. So with Spike Shell, you can at least do damage to them while you're standing there. I mean, you can see there, I had 2 people in my ultimate when I started the ultimate up, and both of them got out fairly quickly. It looks like I've gone with Nemean Lion for my physical protections. I'm not really sure why. Oh, it's because Vamana's got his speed build going. So he hits you really fast, and Nemean Lion will just start bouncing that damage back to him. I mean, I've got a lot of protections and a lot of health at this point. I'm finally building an item that you want to have with Hades, and that's the Void Stone. Void Stone is basically built for Hades. The fact that he can just warp into enemies and he functions really well in a close combat capacity. I mean, let me tell you what Void Stone does if you don't know. Whenever you're near your enemies when you have Void Stone, it reduces their magical protections by 15. No, it reduces the enemy's protections within 15 feet by 25. That's what it does. So it makes all of your mages do more damage to your enemies. So when you grab a bunch of people into your ultimate, like, I mean, you've seen here in this fight that whenever I catch my ultimate, I mean, it's just an ultimate tsunami. There's just ultimates everywhere. Some of them are ours, some of them are theirs. Here I'm pulling in another one. Apollo's gonna escape. Not if I can help it. There's that. And there's that. So I would recommend Void Stone. Where I bought Urchin, that's where I would buy Void Stone. Very second ability. Or a very second item in your build. I mean, look at this. I might as well be slapping this guy with a leather glove. That's all the damage I'm doing to this minion. His auto attacks are hilariously low. I mean, normally you can get away with building like a Polynomicon. I would not recommend that with Hades. You don't spam abilities that much for it to be useful. Look at Apollo, he knows it's over. You don't spam abilities enough for your auto attacks to really do enough damage. You really want to focus on the fact that you can do damage. So doing your damage in your abilities is great because it'll get enemies to focus on you, which as a tank, that's what you want. You want enemies shooting at you so they're not shooting at your friends. Here I'm taking a lot of damage, so I'm going to use my one to escape. It's a great escape. And I'm going to back here because the fight's close enough that I can just back. Here we lose a member of our team, so you know what that means. Might as well just surrender, because we're not going to win. Look how close we were. Oh well. Apollo drops a stun. I throw down my pillar. Pick up at least a solid 2 of them. Throw down my creeping curse so that they can't escape. And then fall back to the point where I've got some reinforcement. So the build that I built in this arena match is a non-typical build. I don't honestly know what I was thinking. I recorded this a little while ago before I went on vacation. So I mean, it's not fresh in my head why I was building it this way, but I'm sure I had reasons. They were probably bad reasons, but they were reasons nonetheless. So check the build in the description for what I would build if I was gonna play Hades. Like with a calm, rational mind and a non. Oh, here's something you can know. Scylla's ult hurts. That's a good thing to know. whenever you see that circle on the ground, don't stand there. That's your Rainer tip of the day. Don't get hit by Scylla's ultimate. Drop my ultimate again. Pull in Scylla. Pick up a quick finish on her with Poseidon. I kill off Poseidon with my ultimate. I mean, that was probably the best ultimate I had all game. We're down to the very last ticket, and Apollo picks up the Poseidon kill, resulting in us losing the match. Anyway, guys, this has been Rainer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you.